This is the Nerdy Romantics Podcast, and I'm your host, Y.M. Nelson. Hello, Nerdy Romantics. Oh my gosh, I'm fangirling right now because I have here Rebekah Weatherspoon with us today. Yeah. Okay, I know she's like, what in the world did I just sign up for? But we are talking about her newest book, which is not steamy contemporary adult romance, y'all. Y'all know I love talking about Rebekah's steamy contemporary adult romance. It is a YA romance book. It's called Her Good Side. And it is amazing. Okay, y'all, it's amazing. I was having some moments as I was reading. I'm going back to my high school days kind of moments and a prom that I wish I could have redone if Jacob were there. Jacob is our hero in this book, and our heroine is Bethany. I just love them as a couple. I love the tropes. I love everything that's going on. But before we get into all the wonderfulness about this book, first off, for those for some reason who are hiding under a log or something and don't know about the wonderfulness that is Rebekah Weatherspoon, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. There's not a lot to tell in the context of maybe a romance podcast. I could go on about my current Lego projects, but I'll spare everyone.
You know, we are nerdy here too. Okay, so please talk Lego projects, talk whatever nerdy you want. We are all about it.
Let's see. My name is Rebekah Weatherspoon. I'm currently residing in Los Angeles, and I've been writing romance things for about the last 12 years or so. And so far, it's been pretty great. I try to hit on a little bit of everything. So I've done a little bit of paranormal, a little bit of contemporary, some heavy erotic romance, some romantic suspense, some cowboy romances with a fairy tale twist. And now we've moved on to the young love. We've come to the young people. So I'm just, as they say, happy to be here.
So what made you want to go the YA route?
Sure. I've been wanting to write a young adult book for a long time, and I just wanted to make sure it was the right time and the right project. My agent Holly is awesome, and I told her, when we got together that I had some young adult ideas, and she's just really good at her job and helped me figure out which idea would be a good idea. And in the early days of the plague that had us all in home, it was just kind of the perfect storm for me to work on the proposal and everything, and the stars aligned, I guess. But yeah, I've been wanting to write young adult for a long time. I think I fell in love with love very much so when I was a teenager, so it's easy to think about writing love stories for that demographic.
And I saw in an article that this is a little bit of maybe based on a true story a little bit.
Sure,
maybe?
It was inspired by a true story. I did not ride off into the sunset with some boy from high school. When I was in high school, my friend, we were juniors in high school, she was dating a senior for a very short amount of time, but she already had a date to prom when she was dating this guy. So she was like, why don't you go to prom with my boyfriend? I'll go with this other guy who already asked me. And then when we get there, we can do like a little switcheroo. And I wasn't going to prom. I was a junior. No one had asked me. And I was like, sure, I'll go. And her boyfriend at the time was totally fine with it. He was like, yeah, I'll get the tickets. It's cool. So we did the whole thing, and then 3 days before prom, she broke up with him. So I went to him and was like, "What do you want to do, man?" And he was like, "No, we can still go to prom." And I was like, "Okay." So I went to prom with my friend's ex-boyfriend and hung out with his friends, and we had a it was like minor disasters popped up. It was on a boat. I got my finger slammed in a door. I got food spill on my dress. It was a whole thing. But he was a lovely date, and his friends were so nice to me. And the date part was absolutely lovely. I do not recommend having really any event on a boat off the coast of Maine. I don't know. It's just those
Coast
are
of Maine.
yeah, those are fishing waters. Those are not romantic evening waters. So yeah, but he was lovely, and when I went back to my friend, we're still friends, which is great. And I talked to her about wanting to write this book. She was really excited, and we got to kind of have our like old lady conversation about what that experience was like for both of us back then. And she gave me some details that didn't know at the time, and I gave her some details she didn't know at the time. So it was really fun to kind of revisit that time in my life and be able to do that with my friend now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's totally cool. I was reliving some of my, as I said before, my high school days too. But I will say this, I'm so glad in my high school days that we didn't have TikTok, we didn't have any of those social media things, people texting you constantly and then wondering, is this person going to text me back? Whatever, whatever. I mean, you could kind of play off, well, mom had the phone, so,
No, I
so you can play that off, but this is, oh wow, it's a lot.
yeah,
It's a lot.
yeah. No, I love technology, and I am like so glad that we did not have social media the way kids do now. I'm glad we didn't have phones. I'm glad it was I made many a collect call from a payphone when I needed a ride for sure. But and you had to know where you were going. But I'm really glad that that point in my life was not documented minute by minute for sure.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
so much. I mean, it's can't believe it. That's one thing that young people have to deal with these days, but getting in that whole vibe and making these characters so real. I mean, how did you manage to do that? So even though you have the based on a true story kind of experience, you already have that kind of as a little bit of plot. But how did you get these characters to just feel as real as they did? Because again, this is not our childhood. This
sure,
is
sure.
yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'm like way more like responsible, but I don't know that I've like matured that much. So in that sense, like I got my bills paid on time, but me now and 16-year-old me still have a lot in common. And I don't know, I tried to pay attention to what kids are doing now, my nieces and nephews, that kind of stuff. And I do feel like it's I don't know. I feel like young people, since the advent of like school, because most kids are not just in the United States aren't just like working on farms anymore. But since the advent of like the school system, I feel like a lot of our youthful experiences are the same. We're trying to figure out who we are. We're going through probably the most frustrating parts of puberty. We want to be independent, but we're still, reliant on our parents or a parental figure. Stuff with friends seems so intense and everything. And so that part of it just wasn't hard to go back to. And then I just wanted to keep it current. Obviously, phones and social media change things a lot. Even just handing in schoolwork online, like that kind of stuff. I wanted to make sure that I got those details right. But I feel like that universal thing of just like having a crush on somebody or having to do anything for school, whether it's like getting the right outfit for like picture day or like forgetting to do a homework assignment. Like I feel like those anxieties are still so fresh in my head. So it wasn't really that hard to like tap into that. on the romance end, I just thought about like what kind of romance would 16-year-old me want to read? Like what kind of romance would make 16-year-old me giddy? And I think
Right.
that's where we landed. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think 60-year-old me would love this as well. It's cute. Oh gosh. Anyway, before I start going back and being all nostalgic about stuff that people don't know anything about, I want to tap a little bit into writer you,
Sure.
because even though this is reader focused podcast, I know some of y'all out there are writers. And guess what, y'all? Now, is this true?
Hmm.
It's got to be true because I know where I saw it.
Sure.
But is this true that this book went to auction? Like 7 houses were bidding on this book for auction. Is that
Sure. I
true?
think it was either 6 or 7. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But yes, it did go to auction. It did.
Okay, you saying that all like, yes, chill or whatever, but that is not chill. Okay,
Sure.
that's awesome.
I
Totally
am not.
wow.
I'm my father's daughter in this way for sure. I am not very great at like processing good news, I guess. Like I'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of those people like too. Like if you try to like say like surprise me with something, I have such like a muted reaction. Like the excitement lives just kind of like deep in the back of my brain. Like there's a little guy with a sign who's like, yay, like hanging out in the back of my brain. But like I'll just be like, oh, okay. Like I have such muted reactions to stuff sometimes. So when we finally kind of like closed the deal, I told my agent, I was like, I probably will not process and react to this for like a while. And she was like, it's fine. I'll be excited for the both of us. And I was like, great. I was like, wonderful. You be excited for the both of us. Also, it happened in the first year of the pandemic too. So it was still kind of like it was amazing news, but this was like
All
pre-vaccine.
this.
I couldn't go
Oh
anywhere.
gosh. Yeah. Can't do anything
Yeah,
about
like
it. And
I
then
got
all
the
this other
news.
stuff is happening.
I told my parents, and they were very. It was nice to be able to like tell my parents. You know, it was that moment of like, I mean, especially when you're Black, when you're able to tell your parents like I did something, and then they're like,
Yes.
all right, you know what I mean? Like I feel like
Yes.
I think for them too, when I decided to be a writer, they were just nervous, you know, like they were like, let's hope this works out. And my parents are lovely. I've been through rough patches where they've been like, you can always come home. Like my parents are great, supportive people, but they obviously want me to be able to like soar on my own. So it was nice to be able to call them and be like, I did it. You know, that was good. And, you know, and I told a couple of my friends, and then and then the other thing about that too is like I couldn't go anywhere, so I couldn't like go out to a bar and like get a drink. I couldn't.
Right.
Disneyland's only like right down the road. I couldn't like be like I'm gonna take a Disneyland day, and like I couldn't do anything. So I just kind of like sit in my house, and I was like, all right, you know, like I couldn't really do it.
That's
And then
awesome. Okay, back to work.
yeah,
Yeah.
and also the nature of publishing is like everything in publishing takes forever. So like from when the auction happened to like the actual deal announcement was like 5 months. So I was like sitting on it for such a long time too. So it's like, yeah, it's the kind of like roller coaster ride of emotions with that is always kind of weird. But no, it is an amazing thing. I'm very happy for it. And hopefully that is not the last auction I experience.
I hope not either.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be because your work is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, so elaborate a little bit more on how that happened for writer folks. So you're saying it was 5 months after your book went to auction before they said, okay, this is who we're settling on. How does all that happen?
So okay, yeah,
How does all
I'll
that
take part of
happen?
that. So, and I'm sure there was another writer out or other writers out there where this happened differently. I'm not. My story is my story. I don't know if this is the
And this is your moment. So
yeah. I
yeah,
don't know
tell us your
if
story.
this is standard for everyone. So I worked on the proposal for like a few months. My agent had like awesome feedback. We spiffed it up, everything. We sent it out to a bunch of different places. And then, oh man, I wish I had like the dates in my head. It might have been, I think it was like October, November. I can't remember off the top of my head, but fall of 2020, people start getting back to us and saying, we've read the proposal. So basically, what happens is my agent emails me and she's like, okay, so we're starting to get feedback. I'm going to reach out to everyone that we sent it to and say, hey, we're starting to get feedback. If this is something that you would like to get in on, let us know. So then she comes back to me and she says, okay, this number of people is interested in this. I think it's enough people that we need to start thinking, auction, whatever. So then people did put in their offers, and then we were in auction territory at that point. It's not like auctions you see on TV where it's like,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I even wanted this too. I was like, is it going to be me on a conference call with like a bunch of different people? And there's going to be like, it's not like that at all. It's basically everyone's in touch with my agent. I'm just sitting next to my computer, like hitting refresh. Like that's basically all it is. So she came back and was like, okay, well, this person offered this much and this person offered this much. And we went back and forth. And then I think we were in like the top, maybe like 4 or 5, I think. And I had phone calls with everybody. So I talked to every person who was making an offer just to get, because I hadn't met anyone. These are all editors I'd never met because I'm not in a young adult. I was coming from the adult world. So these
That's
weren't,
true.
these were,
Okay.
none of these editors were people that I'd met before.
Wow.
Except for one, but that was more of like a coincidence. And I had met them at a book thing somewhere else. I hadn't met them in the YA universe. So I had all those phone calls and they were all great. It was just nice talking to so many lovely people. And then there was an amount of money offered from an editor who I really trusted and had like a really good vibe about. So we decided on that offer and we accepted the offer, and they sent over a letter a couple days later, kind of like, this is the deal. And we said, okay. So then after that, there's the million-year process of waiting for the contracts to come in. So we had decided on the offer, unless I had done something crazy like, disappeared to Bali or decided that like I was going to pull it, that I just had to wait, right, basically. So we had to come up with the deal announcement, which we did through Entertainment Weekly, and then we were just waiting on the contracts and stuff like that. So that's the thing about publishing. It's a lot of waiting, like a lot of waiting. So yeah, so that's the auction itself was like 2 or 3 days or 2 days, something like that, and then we settled on a deal, and then I just had to wait months for the deal announcement, wait months for the contract. So that's how that works.
Are you writing the book kind of during that waiting? Because the proposal is not necessarily your manuscript, right? It's just the idea. It's kind of like
right. I think everything is a blur. At that time, no, because I was waiting to get with that editor, and then we were gonna suss it all out and all of that. And then I also at that time I was still working on my cowboy trilogy.
Okay, yeah.
So I think I was working on book 2 or 3 at that point. Because book 1 came out 2 weeks before we went into lockdown. So I was working on book 1 or 2, I can't remember. And yeah, I had other stuff I was doing in the meantime.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You had other projects going on. Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, and we talk about this a lot on our podcast because, obviously I'm a Black woman and we have a lot of diversity with our guest hosts on the podcast. The fact it makes it even, I'm going to say, this is my podcast. I can say what I want. It makes it even sweeter that it's a Black woman having this major auction. I'm just loving that. Okay, yeah, it's you, Rebekah. But yeah, it's also the fact that you're a Black woman, and I'm like, yay! I'm all about that. And kind of getting back to the book a little bit, which is why I'm all about this heroine who is a Black girl.
She's so cute.
She's totally cute. I love that she's plus size and confident,
Mhm.
not plus size and, oh, what am I doing about my body? Or
Sure.
looking at her friends and being like, oh, they look a certain way,
Yeah.
and I don't know if this was your intention. And of course, every reader is going to be different, but my reading experience, and I guess because I'm looking at the cover and because I know what's happening and because you have your descriptors in there, I know that she's plus size. And almost have my own kind of vision for what the other ensemble part of the cast looks like.
Sure, sure.
Think there were just like a couple of references to everybody else's looks. And so I kind of got a picture of what everybody else does. But I think that's kind of also the beauty of it, is that we're not focusing on physical here, which is somebody is reading this that is 16 years old or at that age. There's
Yeah.
so much focus on physical
Sure.
and so much of that gets internalized at that age. Like
Yeah.
right now, I'm just like, it's water off a duck's back to me right now.
Sure,
But
sure.
but I remember at that age, it was, you just feel like, okay, I look like this, and is this normal? And there
Yeah.
is no normal, everybody. There's just you.
Yeah.
And so I like how you put in the descriptors where it's just, I'm getting the experience, and we need to know about whatever we need to know about these characters. We know about them as far as
Sure.
physical. So I love that part of it. And what that also does is, I'm not so much focused on the physical with them.
Sure.
I'm focused on their friendships and their relationships and all that kind of stuff. And the fact that Bethany, she's the heroine, the fact that her friends, it's a diverse group, but they have this amazing relationship
Yeah.
and friendship, and that is where that begins, and showing that in like a healthy way is awesome. They're also the popular girls, by the way, in my
Sure.
opinion. Is that how you wrote it?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
how you wanted it to be? Okay. They are the popular girls. And I was one of the nerds slash band geek.
Sure, sure.
So the popular people were mean. They're popular, and I just love everything about this.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think like everyone everyone's high school experience is definitely different. Like I always go growing up, I never got bullied by other girls. I always got bullied by boys, which was whatever. I always got bullied by
Yeah,
boys,
me too.
which was
Had
just
a
like
mean girl experience. I had a couple of mean girl experiences, but most of my bullying was from boys.
yeah, like I obviously when you're a kid, so much of your social interactions are filled with tension anyway. I'm not saying I did not have like beefs with other girls. There was plenty of nonsense, but I got like picked on by boys. I always thought that was really weird. But yeah, I mean, I think also too, I went to high school with people who were really nice also. You know what I mean? Like my mom always tells me, she's like, you're so lucky that you had friends that you're like still friends with and like are just nice people. And um, I think that it was everyone in my family is like this. We're very social people and social butterflies, and we want to be friends. Like we're cool with everyone, and like until you piss us off, we're cool with
Right.
everyone. Like we're those kinds of people who are like, if you're cool, I'm cool. Like we're those
Yeah.
kinds of people. We're cool with everybody. So I've always just been someone who was kind of a social butterfly, wanted to be friends with everybody. And I like writing friend groups in my books. I like having the characters surrounded by friends. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love reading a like lonesome heroine in the woods who like meets, so, that kind of thing. But I like writing friend groups. So I think for this story, it just made sense that I didn't want Bethany's conflict to come from like friendship beefs or anything like that. In earlier drafts, Glory's character was like a heavier presence. And we ended up kind of trimming that down a little bit. And she was a little bit more intense, but I still don't think that like there wasn't like tension there or anything like that.
Oh,
She was just more kind of like strong-willed. But yeah, really, I just wanted Bethany to have like a good group of friends, and they're just trying to live, they're just trying to get through their high school experience. And and I'm sure if the book was more about like the inner workings of the school, I'm sure we would find that there's kids at the school who don't like them or like whatever. I could have
right.
expanded on that for sure. But I just wanted to we kept it tight to the romance. But and as far as like, the physical things, Bethany, she does say my friends are really beautiful and like they're tall and skinny and or whatever, and boys are attracted to them, or Tatum already has a girlfriend, that sort of thing. And she
Mhm.
does feel left out. She's not saying that
Yeah,
she's not everything's not 100% perfect. She understands that like boys are not hitting her up, they're not sliding into her DMs, as the kids say. And that's
right.
kind of where we meet her. But I think for any time I'm writing kind of any character, I think like I think there's a difference between like normal self-esteem issues. Like everybody wakes up and doesn't feel their sexiest every day. That's like everybody has that, right?
Mhm.
Everybody has that period where you put on an outfit and you're like, ugh, I don't look good. Everyone has, or
Right.
you gain or lose some weight, whatever, and you're just looking at your body like, what's going on, friend? We all have those. We all have those moments.
Yeah.
Haircuts we don't like, all of that. That's fine. But I think there's a difference between fluctuations in self-esteem and self-loathing. And
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
a person who is in the camp of self-loathing. My mom was very, very serious about building up my and my siblings' confidence. She was very serious about that. And almost every day when I was a kid, she was always telling me like how beautiful I was, how smart I was, just taking pride in our family, like you're a Weatherspoon, she is like a great hype man. My mom is like, she is like the best hype man. And same with my dad. He's more the strong, silent type, but he also was very encouraging of us being ourselves. So when I was in high school, again, more of my self-confidence stuff. I mean, you remember the 90s and early 2000s, there was a lot of like eating disorder stuff in the pop culture,
Yes.
right? It was
Yes.
very in to be very, very thin. And I won't say that I didn't struggle with that, but it didn't really work on me. I was still 200 pounds. You know what I mean? Like I was still a big kid. That was never going to change. And even when I
Yeah.
made attempts to get skinny, my body was like, no, 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 friend. Like this is not.
We're not gonna do this.
No, my body was like, these boobs are natural. They're not going anywhere. This butt is not going anywhere. And I look back at pictures of myself and thinking like, oh man, I was so fat. It's like, no, you weren't really fat. You were just a really thick black girl in a white town and you stuck out, and that's fine. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. But I didn't hate myself when I was a teenager. I absolutely loved myself. I was secure in my like weird hobbies. I was secure in the things that I liked. And my friends were too, which I think was good. I'm None of my friends were self-loathing either. And they're all quirky weirdos too, completely, but also lovely people, and they
Yeah.
were really confident. And so I think that was good that we kind of like had good self-confidence going on. And that was another thing with Bethany and also with her friendships. I wanted them all to be young people who felt like empowered, and they were
Yeah.
going through life, but they're not, none of them are self-loathing. They all seem to kind of have it together.
Mhm. Yeah. And you definitely get that through the story. You definitely get that. And I'm just like cheering a little bit inside because I'm like, this is the book that we needed in the 90s when we were trying to get, you know, skinny, skinny,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
unhealthy skinny,
yeah, yeah,
without saying too much about that. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, this is that book because there's so much other stuff out there. There's so much media out there that's like perpetrating a certain body image or a
Yeah.
certain way that you have to look, or you could be this quirky but you can't be this quirky. Like
Yes. Yes.
when you take off your glasses you got to look, you know what
Right.
I mean?
Yes.
And so to have that not even matter at this point in this book, that's not what she's really stressing about. And you're right, her real stress is that everybody's coupled up around her and
Yeah.
she's not. And I think part in that's kind of, we can get into the part, that little part of her is saying I'm fat and that, but that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with it really.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we find out that really doesn't have anything to do with it at
Yeah.
all. So we're not gonna, I didn't say spoiler alert before. I usually say
Sure. Sure.
spoiler alert. So I won't do any spoilers of
It,
this.
it is a romance, so it does have a happy ending. So
Yeah,
just
right, exactly. And
things do work out.
that's not a spoiler. It does have a happy ending. So, but we find out it's not really her physical is
Yeah.
why she doesn't have a boyfriend. And
And
I love that about this book. It almost teaches us without teaching us,
sure.
you know.
And I tried to also do kind of the opposite side of the coin with Jacob. He goes through a really drastic growth spurt. And for the first time in his life, people are looking at him and he's uncomfortable with that. He was like, I was this short, quiet kid. And now all of a sudden, all these girls are talking to me and I don't know what to do with that. And I remember more than one people. There was one of my friends when I think we were in like seventh grade. He was already 6'4". The boy I was like madly in love with in junior high school, he was 6'3". My older brother was 6'5" by the time he was a sophomore in high school. And I think
Wow.
sometimes people forget that, like, people kind of covet height on boys a lot. They're like, oh, well, you're tall. But I think a lot of times when my nephew is going through this, right? Actually, all three of my nephews kind of went through this. It's this idea that your body is way ahead of your brain and
Yeah.
how difficult that can be.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking to my brother-in-law about this earlier because his son shot right up. He's really tall now. And he was saying, he was like, I have to remember that he's still a child. He was like, this kid's taller than me now, but he's a child. And I have to
Yeah.
still treat him like he's a child. He's still learning. He's still trying to figure out the world. I can't jump to treating him like he's 30. And I think that's kind of
Right.
the struggle that Jacob is going through. He's kind of like, I'm tall all of a sudden, and all these people are paying attention to me, but I'm still a kid. And I didn't magically become this like mature relationship god overnight. He's like, I'm still this kind of
Right.
awkward kid. So I wanted to show it from both sides of how, even if you think like, oh, someone's like tall and hot and all this, like, you don't know what's going on in their brain. You don't know how it's affecting them, So not that there's like a curse in beauty, but puberty is hard. Puberty is very hard.
It is. And see, with that, it wasn't that he just got tall. It was the first thing I was thinking about as I was reading was, and now my nose is actually the same proportion. My nose grew in or something like
Yeah.
that, he said. It's like, yep, that's exactly what happens, in
Yeah.
puberty. Like your body parts are not growing at the same rate. Everything is not proportional.
Yeah.
And that's kind of part of his little awkwardness. But I love the fact that you made him a Trekkie. Thank you.
Sure. I had to.
Y'all, Rebecca does not know me from Eve at this before this book was written, before this podcast. So no,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't have anything to do with it. But I love the fact that he's a Trekkie.
I had to pull back too because I was deep into Discovery, and then I think I was Strange New Worlds. I was like finishing up this first season of Strange New Worlds when I was like working on this, and I was like, I can't just have like chapters and chapters of him and Axel just like talking about Star Trek. But
Right?
it was this close. It was
Gosh,
very close.
it's all I can do to keep Star Trek out of my stuff. I'm like, I told myself, I said I was working on book 2 of my series. I just finished the first draft and I was kind of going back and filling in holes. And I said, "Ooh, I'm going to write a little part about Star Trek." And then I told myself, "Now you said you weren't going to write about Star Trek in this book." But I was like, oh, I just had to do it. Trek
Do
is
it.
awesome, y'all.
Do
I'm
it.
just saying, Star Trek's awesome. And for those who like the nerdy, it's awesome for that. But for those who like the romance, there's drama on Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
There's serious drama.
Lots of it. Yeah.
I love it. I love all of it. But yeah, I love the fact that, he's kind of nerdy, but his big thing is photography and not photography. I'm sorry, film. His
And
big
photography.
thing is
Yeah.
film and photography some. And the fact that he's like he takes these pictures and everybody looks amazing in these pictures. I'm like,
Yeah.
where is this guy?
Finding someone who takes really good pictures is like finding a unicorn. It's like when you find someone who takes good pictures of everyone, it's like, yes. Every friend group needs at least one person who takes
Yes,
like amazing pictures.
exactly.
If you don't have at least one person in your
Yeah.
family clique, whatever, who takes really good pictures, you're doomed. The entire record of your life is just like blurry, triple chinned, like
Yeah.
out of focus. Yeah, yeah.
Especially in this day and age when everything is like catch me on video,
Yeah.
or we gotta take a selfie, or we gotta do this. I mean,
Yeah.
everything's so video oriented and film oriented. It's like you have to have somebody who takes a good picture of your group. And Jacob is that person for this group.
Yeah.
I just love it. I love everything about that. So I noticed you have on your Jordan jersey there,
Oh, sure. That
and
was just a coincidence. It gets hot in my office.
okay, I was gonna say, so Bethany is a basketball player, but she
Right.
hates basketball.
Yes.
So, do you like basketball? Is it What's the whole thing behind that, or was
Oh,
that just something for her character that she
yeah.
wrote?
This was also another part of myself that I kind of hate. I gave to Bethany. Everyone in my family is like superstar athletes. And my dad would coach basketball for a really long time. So like my brother was like really good at like basketball and lacrosse. My other brother used to play water polo and was a swimmer, and he used to coach water polo. He just recently stopped coaching. My sister was like an amazing swimmer. She had like the records at our school until like, I don't know, like a month ago, and she graduated in like 95. Everyone in my family, my mom used to like be a gymnastics coach and ballet. Like my mom's 70 something, and she still takes classes at Alvin Ailey. Like she's like, yeah, yeah. She's amazing. Me, I would like to be inside watching cartoons. That's what I would like to be doing. So growing up, I had to play sports because you're running four kids around, and it's like, why not get them all in the same activities instead
Yes.
of different activities? Which,
Yep.
in retrospect, I fully understand. I had to swim, I had to play basketball, I had to do all this other stuff. I will say this right now. I like watching sports. I'm totally fine watching sports. I do not like competing in sports. I don't like competitive sports. I am not
Yeah.
I am not someone like, because I think it never mattered to me. And even when I was young, the WNBA was like really getting started and everything. Like I remember like looking up to Lisa Leslie and being like, "Oh my God, she's so amazing!" Like I was inspired, but more like as you are inspired by like Oprah. I wasn't like, I need to run out and like become a professional women's basketball player. That was not
Right.
on the agenda. So I it was a struggle. It was a struggle for a long time. So I actually was really good at shot put and discus. So I did track and field in high school.
Oh, cool.
And then that got to be not fun. And
Oh.
I quit. I won't go into details there. That got
All
to be
right. That's
that was a
fine.
that was a staffing issue. Me and some of the coaches were not seeing eye to eye. So I was like, it's time for me to pack it up. I was like, these people are not invested in my mental health for what they are asking me to put my body through. So I was like, I'm going to walk away from this. So like quitting sports once and for all was the best thing that ever happened to me. I just did not. I was not into it, and it was really funny because I was talking to my brother like I don't know, like 2 years ago, and I told him I was like, "Yeah, I don't like competitive sports," and he was like, he was so shocked, and he was like, "You've been living your whole life this way," and I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And he thought I was like enjoying it the whole time when like, we were all doing it, and I was like, "No," I was like, I hated every minute of that, and he was
Oh,
so
wow.
shocked. And so it was interesting. I guess I hit it very well, but no, I am not someone who likes to participate in competitive sports. So I thought I would give Bethany a little bit of that, and it's hard when you hate something that you're good at. That's the that's the
Yeah.
other part of it. So no
Yep.
spoilers, but Bethany does not. She's good at basketball. She is not enjoying herself.
Yeah. Yeah. You wrote that without this. There.
Yeah,
I,
and
you know,
I
I felt all of that. I
and I
was like,
wanted to give it a little extra zhuzh by making her mom's be so involved in sports
yes.
just to give it a little make the stakes a little bit higher. So
Like, oh my gosh, how is she gonna deal with this?
dun
I
dun
would be
dun.
I would be scared. Let's be
She
honest. I'd
is.
be scared to tell
She
my
is.
parents. Oh gosh. And so yeah, and there it is. So I guess one of the big events or the big event here is the whole homecoming dance thing. And I have to know if any of this is based on that true story, like them at the dance kind of
Oh
thing. Is it maybe something that the nieces and nephews kind of influence there?
no, I
Or we
went to
just
like
are
I
we
went
just
to a
pulling from Pretty in Pink?
yeah, yeah.
What are we doing?
I went to like a handful of formals in high school. They were all overall lackluster and disappointing, which is fine. It's high school. I'm not someone who thinks you need to be holding on to high school for the rest of your life. I'm looking at
Yeah,
this as someone in their 40s. So I'm just like, that was a time of my life. It's over. We've moved on.
it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some heightened drama at my prom, which was ridiculous. But no. For this, I just wanted to kind of craft what would be kind of like a fun and interesting evening for Bethany and Jacob when they finally kind of are catching this plan to be together, but not be together, but be together.
Right.
And when you have those first moments of like holding someone's hand and you're like, oh, this is what this is like, so I just wanted to kind of craft like what would actually be like a good night at
Yeah.
homecoming. What would
Yeah.
be a good night? So that was 100% fictional.
Yeah, because I'm like, this didn't happen at my prom, but I'm so
Didn't happen
happy
to
it
mine either.
happened. And that too is kind of their, like in adult romance, we have that falling in love time,
Yeah,
the time with that's kind of their time to do that. And it feels right. Like when they're in school and they're asking each other in the hallway and all that other kind of stuff. Now there are those little moments too, they're falling in love, but then it's also school and it's like, okay.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you know, I want to see all that and how much of the magic is there.
Right,
But
right.
for all audiences, that dance and that falling in love, even though, you know, do they even know if they're falling in love at this
Right,
point?
right. The denial. The denial.
Yes, that whole thing that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
And of course, with that, we get the big fake relationship trope. But before I leave that, I'm sorry, y'all. Rebecca is hilarious. I just have to read a little bit
Sure.
if I can. So, at this point, they're talking about how did we do kind of thing, just what Rebecca's saying. They're hatching this plan or whatever after the
Yeah, yeah.
dance. And Jacob is asking Bethany, how did I do out there? And she's like, all things considered, no notes so far. You are present and attentive. We need to talk about you clapping on the 2 and the 4, but you really did give it your all on the dance floor, which I didn't expect from you.
Listen, Jacob is an absolute sweetheart. He can't dance. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's okay. Sometimes boy, you're in love with Candace, and that's all right. It's all right.
Right.
He's a sweetheart. It's a,
It was just so hilarious. And it was just so like, okay, this is up. Oh, we need to talk about you clapping on the two and the four. Like me, I could just see her saying that. It's like, oh, I love it. And there's so many moments that are just, totally hilarious out there. And you write some hilarious stuff that just makes me holler out laughing. Is that your thought process as you're going? Are you thinking I'm writing a romantic comedy?
sure.
Or are you thinking I'm just gonna write this and you go back and you read it and you're like, it's funny as crap.
Oh, I mean, I try to inject humor into all of my stuff. Like, even if you read my romantic suspense stuff, that's like really heavy. Like, people are
Yeah.
getting murdered and stuff. I try to inject humor into the conversations. I think a lot of people use humor even in dark moments. I'm the friend, like if something really bad happens, I will be there and I will be really supportive, but I'm going to try my hardest to make you laugh, right? You lose somebody, I'm going to comfort you, but then I'm going to offer to like beat someone up for you to make you feel good. I'm going to try and make you laugh in any
Yeah.
circumstances. So that's just me. I can't be serious all the time. It's just not in my
Yeah.
nature. I come from people who got jokes all the time. Everyone in my family is very silly, very goofy. So yeah, I think that's just how I am. And so it ends up
Yeah.
a lot in the dialogue that I write. But I think rom-coms should be funny. So I tried to make sure
Yeah.
that, there was a good amount of humor and just even like kind of light sarcasm, that kind of stuff sprinkled throughout the book.
Yeah, which it's totally funny. But getting back to the fake relationship trope, which is that's the biggest trope here. So if y'all love the fake relationship trope, it's here in spades. And is that kind of what you were setting out to do? Wanted to do a whole fake relationship trope kind of thing? Is this something that you do? I haven't read anything where you've done this exactly.
Not no, I did a marriage of convenience. I did marriage of convenience. I did adult time lessons in one book. I think I've done fake relationship. Fake relationship to me is tricky. I'm someone who there needs to be kind of like a realistic element to it, right? So like in my book Zenny, it's a marriage of convenience book. It's a contemporary marriage of convenience book. And I crafted around the idea of like this aunt who has passed away. She's obviously playing matchmaker. Like she's not trying to hide
Yeah.
that, right?
She wasn't. She was
At
not at
all.
all.
Right. She's like, no, I know you. I know you will go to your grave single because you're stubborn. So I'm gonna like basically bribe you into
Yeah.
just like being with this guy who I think is right for you. And she spells that out very clearly. And then
Yeah.
makes the incentives a little bit hard to say no to, right? She like has to
Right.
say yes. So I always try to kind of put in an element of realism. And in the story, Bethany and Jacob they both feel as if they are very bad at dating. They feel like they just don't, like Bethany has no experience and Jacob keeps getting dumped. And so they're both kind of like, we both have no idea what we're doing. And they both are like, well, you don't know what you're doing on this end, I don't know what I'm doing on this end, maybe we like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And I think it comes together in that way where people sometimes are sharing like one brain cell and it's not really actually a great idea. But
Right.
like you have situations with your friends where they come up with like the worst idea ever, but
Yes.
you're like bored or
Right.
you're just
They're
like,
like, yeah, let's do it.
right,
Yeah.
you're like, this is
Yeah.
a terrible idea, but let's do this because like I am really bored. So I think that's how it comes together. They just are like, this is actually not a great idea, but it's a great idea. And so they kind of decide to like help each other figure out how to like be someone in the dating world. And they at the moment too, they are both approaching it. It's before the dance, it's before homecoming. So they're both still just kind of like acquaintances at that point, right? So they don't have feelings for each other. They think the other is cute. Jacob establishes early on that he thinks Bethany's really cute. She thinks he's very attractive, but they don't look at each other as potential real life partners. So they're definitely approaching it as like a business relationship in the beginning. But then of
Yeah.
course, all it takes all it takes is one night at homecoming to maybe turn that around. So
Exactly. The other thing that I like about this book, and I think that parents and adults who are recommending this for kids may feel woosah okay
oh sure.
about this book, is that it's not one of those where you're worried about. I think the only thing I can really say is steam level,
Sure, sure.
but YA doesn't have a steam level, but
Sure,
you know what
sure.
I'm saying.
Yeah, there's ways you can do that. There's plenty of books where kids are fooling around, whatever, kids lose their virginities to each other, they have sex, blah, blah, all of that. Judy Blume's Forever is like notorious for that. I think they're actually turning that into a movie. It's about a boy and a girl who are dating. I think it's their senior year in high school or something like that, and they're sexually active. That's basically what the story is about. And I think a portion of kids, teenagers, are sexually active with each other. That is real. That is the real thing. And that's something that you can write well in a story and write responsibly in a story as well. For this, it was more, they both were such novices at everything. Bethany hadn't had her first kiss yet. She hadn't even so much as like held a boy's hand. So in the space of the book, it made no sense to like speed run them to like losing their virginity to each other. That didn't make any sense. And Jacob also says in his previous relationships he wasn't ready, right? So I wanted to also present a boy who is saying, I'm not ready yet. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, my arms are still too lanky for my body. I am not ready to go there yet. And I think that works. I
Yeah.
did have a draft, I'll be honest, where they did lose their virginity to each other. And I think I handled it tastefully and all of that. It just didn't, when we came back for the last draft, it just didn't work with like the tone of the story. So we just took it out and that was fine. And I think the way it ended up now is actually much better.
I think to me it's more true to their
Yes.
character. Just like you're
Yes.
saying about Jacob, he's like, I'm not ready for this. And it all works with their character. And Bethany hasn't had her first kiss yet and everything. And this may not be the time for all of
Right.
that.
Right.
So yeah,
And I think
it totally
with
works.
other characters, yeah, and like their friends are sexually active. Like she says in
Yeah,
the beginning, her best
yeah,
friend Glory and her boyfriend, they are sexually active. She says that.
right.
Like, I'm not, but I have friends who are. And that's just what they're doing. And I think that, yeah, I wanted to make it fit who Bethany and Jacob were and where we meet them. And I think that worked out well, I hope.
It did. It worked out very well. So the other thing that I also liked is they have the teenage angst that happens, but it's
Sure,
not
sure,
high angst, really tense kind of situations going on.
sure.
So to me, that's kind of another plus in recommending it, especially in the times that we're in. Everybody's looking for something low angst. I mean, obviously, there's
Yeah.
got to be a little teenage whatever going on. And now I've read some of your other books, and you're pretty. I haven't read any of your romantic suspense yet, but I know you're kind of low angst, and that's just kind of your vibe in general. But I noticed also a lot of people who wrote during the pandemic, they ended up, especially if they're writing romance, a lot of them ended up writing kind of lower angst stuff, because it was so much going on,
Yeah.
especially during that 2020 year. Was that kind of Did that have any effect on it at all, or you just
No,
wanted
actually
them to be in that space?
the first two drafts were high angst, and that's why I had to write more drafts. The first two drafts were too high angst, and my editors were like, "What is going on?" And I was like, "I'm depressed." So we had to reel it back in. No, I actually did struggle with that, because it was during the first 2 years of the pandemic
Mhm.
and I was
Yeah.
stressed out. And also, I was just stressed out, like watching all these kids miss all of these milestones and having to miss their proms
Yes.
and having to miss their graduations. And two,
Yes.
I mean, we don't have to get really heavy with it, but I think we'll see down the road the toll of young kids losing parents and grandparents during all of this. I think we have a lot of
Yep.
COVID orphans. And so that
Yes.
was stressful. There was a lot of nights where I was like, just legitimately just like crying. Like we did not do what we needed to do to get these kids through this in a swift, timely manner and any of that. So
Yep.
it was very stressful. But luckily, my last editor I worked with, she sat me down and she was like, listen, we got to make this happy. And I was like, no, I know. And we were able to sit down and she was so great. Like she really just listened to me like talk about where I was mentally. And she was like, okay, cool. So how can we like turn the story around? And we bounced ideas off each other. And then we got the tone to where we wanted it to be. And I sold it as a rom-com. We wanted it to be in that space, but life is what it is. My romantic suspense is very heavy. I can get very dark and very angsty and still inject a lot of humor into it. But I can go there. I can get very dark. So I do try to kind of like pull myself out of it sometimes. But yeah, when I finished it, I was like, okay, this is light. And I think for some people, they need light. And I hope that whatever age you are, but especially young people, I hope this is like a refreshing break for whatever you're reading, or if you're reading something for school or like whatever, just to have a refreshing break of something that's like light and fun and funny and silly and sweet. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get all of that here. So whether you're 16 or whether you're 56 and you're reading this, I'm telling you, you're going to get all of that here. It's just a fun romp. It's awesome. Before I have to let you go,
Sure.
I hate having to let you go. But before we do that, I do want to ask about your adult works. I know your Cowboys of California series. Is that still going to? I think I saw that it was optioned. Do you know if it's still going to be a thing? Or any
Valerie
updates
Woods,
on that?
yeah, Valerie Woods of Queen Sugar fame, she optioned it. She's lovely. And she has been hitting the pavement. Hollywood takes forever.
Ever. Yes.
Forever. So
Yes.
fingers crossed, because sometimes it's like we're gonna do it. Oh, we can't do it. We're gonna do it. Oh, we can't do it. So it's just, and there's a brighter strike going on right now too. So yeah. So we'll see. But I feel it in my bones that it will happen. So I don't know when,
Feeling this for you because I
but I
want it to
feel
happen.
because I know the updated Vampire Chronicles, the Anne Rice Vampire. I know that was in development forever. That was in development for a really long time, and I think To All the Boys that was also in development for a really long time. So
It was.
sometimes it takes forever, but I have faith that we're gonna get the Pleasant Brothers to your screen. And Valerie's good. I think she can do it. I know she can do it. So we'll see. Hopefully sooner than later, but who knows? Maybe it'll be 3-4 years from now, but it'll be like the perfect moment, and
Yes,
it'll
it
be
will.
yes, it'll be the
Whatever
perfect.
moment it is, it will be the perfect moment because that series is it's awesome. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. It's awesome. But of course, my favorite of your books that I've read is Rafe. Everybody knows this on this podcast. I've talked about Rafe way too much, but I
Sure.
love me some Rafe. Um, but I'm not going to talk about that anymore.
Yeah, you
Let's
can talk
get
about it as
to.
much as you want.
Oh, I mean, he's just so good. Anyway,
I
but
did say when we were talking about her good side, I did joke to my agent, my editor, that it's kind of like Rafe for kids. That it's like
yes,
a sweet, like it's like a sweet black girl falls in love, but it's kiddie appropriate. So it's
right.
like it's the same tone where it's like fun and upbeat and all
Yeah.
of that, but it's for kids.
Yes. That's the pitch right there, y'all.
Yeah.
Ray for kids. That means it's just that means you just got to get it. I mean, done deal. So let's talk. I always do this with my interviews. I do a little rapid fire
Sure.
round. So first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you these questions, whatever
Sure.
the first thing that comes to your mind is. So this is about, well, yeah, this is about her good side. Your
Sure.
hardest scene to write in her good side.
I think the the end, the
Okay.
final scene,
Okay.
mostly just because I had so much to work with, and I love everybody in this book. So I could have written so much more. You know what I mean? I could have written like 10 epilogues for this. So it
Yeah.
was hard to figure out when to just like end it. That was the hard part because I was like, and then they can do this, and then they can do this, and then that was actually the hardest part was figuring out that like being at peace with the fact that I had to like end the book. That was the hard part. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna divert from that a little bit. Now divert from my rapid fire round. So is this book one of a series, do you think? Or are you
So
just like,
we did sell 2 books.
okay.
Um, I think I can talk about this. I think watch I get in trouble. The next
Don't get
book,
yourself in trouble.
I know, right? It's the next book is it's not Jacob and Bethany, but
Okay.
it's 2 of their friends.
Okay.
So Jacob, you'll see Jacob and Bethany. They're there. They'll be there. They're still together. I didn't break them up. They're still together. They're still being cute. It's like a summertime book with 2 of their friends. I won't say who it is.
Okay.
But
I know who
as
I
we get
wanted to be,
closer, yeah, like as we get
but I
closer,
won't say that either.
you can guess who it is. I can, and no one will say you can guess who it is if you want to, but it's 2 of their friends.
Okay. We'll leave it at
Okay.
that. So back to rapid fire. This is about her good side, the most fun scene to write.
Oh man, it's tough too. I really actually okay. My favorite scenes to write are not in the book.
That
I know.
happens sometimes, y'all.
It happens. So my favorite scene that's in the book is I think either the homecoming scene or I really like the opening scene where she asked Oliver to homecoming because it's so embarrassing. And I really like writing conversations, and writing that conversation was like really because it's so bad. It's like
Yeah.
the worst. It's like you're watching a car wreck. Like it's just and so
Yeah.
that was like really fun to write because you're like, no, that was really fun to write. So that's in the book. But what didn't make it into the book, Glory's boyfriend Landon, he was a bigger character in previous drafts, and he he's not smart. And I had but he's so sweet. And I had written these scenes where he is just like so nice and so sweet, but such a bonehead. And we had to cut them, and I was bummed because I just had like all these really fun scenes where he's like picking Jacob up and like just stuff like that. He's like
Yeah.
trying to make Jacob be his best friend. So I was just bummed that we had to cut that out because it was too long. That's the thing I'm bummed I had to cut out. I had all these really cute scenes with Landon just being kind of a dummy, and I had to cut them out. So
Oh my gosh. That reminds me of Clueless a little bit.
yes, yes, he had like Murray and what's his face, that guy from Bash and Franklin and Bash.
Yes. Yes.
That like
No.
Murray and that guy's energy like kind of put together. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so first book that you read that made you want to write romance.
Oh, you want to write romance? I was writing fan fiction for a while. I was writing Twilight fan fiction for a while. That was happening. And then I think I was right. Like my first book, my first trilogy is a vampire trilogy. I remember reading J.R. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood series. And sorry, there's no black people in that, and they are in New York City. And I was like, what? And so I was
Nope.
like, I want to write vampires that are like multicultural. So that's what I
Right.
ended up doing. But it was more like I was reading books and I wasn't, not that people weren't writing diverse books. I mean, Black people have been writing romance forever, but I wanted to try to do my own spin on writing a diverse paranormal. So
Yeah.
that's basically
Okay.
what yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Your favorite book boyfriend that you didn't write.
And I didn't write.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be Creature from Beverly Jenkins Nighthawk.
Okay.
She writes, her heroes are her characters, all of her. I'm obsessed with
Period.
her characters. He is amazing. And then I'm blanking on his name off the top of my head, but the hero in her book Rebel also, he's like
Mhm.
Iron Mason, and he's just he like tells the heroine as soon as he meets her, he's like, I'm in love with you, girl. And she's like, oh, like I'm betrothed to someone else. And he's like, okay, I'll wait. Like he is just like heart eyes, like, girl, you're the one for me from like the first page. And I was just like, oh, I was like, I love it. So pretty much every Beverly Jenkins hero, her characters are just
Right.
amazing. Ugh.
Yeah. She's just hands down. Yeah. So
Yeah.
your favorite book boyfriend that you did write.
Oh God, that's tough too because I try to like craft my heroes for my heroines. Like I try to make them like specifically like this is what this woman needs.
Yeah.
I think for me, who comes closest to what I want, I think would be Jesse from A Thorn in the Saddle or Daniel from my book Sated. The two of them are both like really sweet, like just rough around the edges, but like once
Yeah.
you get in there, they're like really caring and really giving and really like good listeners and like all of that. So in recent years, Daniel's a little older, but I would say Jesse. He's my favorite.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. We already talked about that. Oh, I was thinking about homecoming and I was like, your favorite song to dance to. It could be old or new or whatever you
Oh.
got in heavy rotation right now, whatever. Because I was
Um.
kind of thinking about homecoming and Jacob
Sure.
flipping
Are we
the
talking
two
about
and four.
fast dancing or slow dancing?
It could be either one or both. It could be one for fast dancing and one for slow dancing.
Okay.
Either.
So since it's on the horizon, I did get tickets to Beyonce's Renaissance tour. I did get tickets. And I love that whole album, but I am really looking forward to dancing to America Has a Problem. America Has a Problem. That's going to be amazing. And then slow song, I would have to say I Only Have Eyes for You by the Flamingos.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's just, ugh, that's like an oldie but goodie.
Yes,
Like
it
just
is.
such a good, I don't know, that song just always gives me kind of like first love chills kind of, and I still love that
Yes.
song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
America,
totally
America
agree.
Has a Problem. I'm really looking forward to dancing like a dummy to
Gosh,
that
have
song.
so much fun. Oh my gosh. Hashtag jealous. Okay.
I waited. I was not one of the people who like was in there opening the first day getting like $1,500 tickets. I waited and waited and waited, and she has a show in LA that somehow miraculously last week was still not sold out. So that's how I ended up getting tickets.
Wow.
So if you're
Oh
in the LA
wow.
area and you're hearing this, Beyonce's September 4th show might not be sold out. I'm just telling you.
Oh boy. Wow. That's almost like unheard of.
I know, right?
Oh gosh. Okay, so last question. A wish that, and I was thinking about Bethany here a little bit with her alternative, what she really wants to do with her time instead of
Sure,
play
sure.
basketball. A wish that you wanted to explore that you didn't. Are there any of those?
Like a career or like a
It could be a career wish. It could be I wanted to go to this place and I didn't get a chance to.
I mean,
I wanted to
I actually am
see.
not really much on the like regretting things tip. I feel like that life has the way. I was in a really messy relationship with this boy after I got out of college, and I missed the opportunity to go see Wicked on Broadway with my dad, and I am still so mad about that because I really wish I had gone to see it. Luckily, my dad did end up going with my mom later, so I'm glad he got to see it. I still have not seen Wicked. I'm very upset about it. But that's like one thing where I'm like, I wish I had done that differently
Yeah.
for sure. But in an alternate life, I own a bakery and I am like a master cake decorator. That's
Wow. I
that's
love it.
yeah. I like working with my hands and I feel like I
Mhm.
would have a lot of fun being a baker, decorating cakes, that kind of thing. That's not going to happen, but
Yeah.
in another life, that's something that I would have done.
Yeah. Cool. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Well, Rebekah, I'm telling you, this was the best conversation, and I had such a great time talking with you. I had a great time laughing with you. Oh, this was totally fun. Now, I know this is YA, and we have some adult romance fans. Anything on the horizon? I know this book may have just come out when it airs, so what do you have going on? It could even be events or signings with this book, but do you have
So
anything else coming up?
her good side is out May 30th. If you're in the Los Angeles area, I'll be doing an event at the Rip Otis Bookstore in Culver City on June 3rd, which is a Saturday. And you can go to their website, they'll have all that information. If you want to know like anything that I'm doing, I am the only Rebekah Weatherspoon on earth who spells my name the way that I do. So if you listen to this and then you're like, oh, I forgot, like, what's her Twitter? What's her what? Just Google me. I'm it. That's it. It's just me. You're not going to find another Rebekah Weatherspoon who spells their name this way and get confused. It's just me. I will always post everywhere what I'm doing. So there's more stuff coming up. We're still finalizing plans about more things in the summertime. So I'll always post. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. You can always go to my website, RebekahWeatherspoon.com. So I'll always put upcoming events and all that stuff there. You can sign up for my newsletter. So that'll be out May 30th. And then I have a super secret project that I can't talk about that's I'll be working on. I'm going to try my hardest to get readers the third book in the Loose End series, which is Megan's book that comes after Zenny. I've been trying to get this book out for a million years. So that will hopefully happen by the end of this year. And then also this year, my Audible original, A Walk in the Park, which is a novella rom-com about two people who decide to share a dog. That will be out in print and ebook by the end of the summer. So if you haven't listened to the Audible version or you have and you want it in print and ebook, that'll be out at the end of the summer. And then yeah, I'm writing the follow-up to Her Good Side, which also has a working title that we have not finalized yet, so I don't want to say, but it's two of their friends. It's going to be really cute. I will give you the trope that is in it. Instead of fake dating, we're doing fake friendship.
Whoa.
It's fake friends to love.
Now this is changing who I think it could be.
So she's like, I figured it out. So it's gonna be
I
fake.
won't say anything because I really want everybody to just read and enjoy and not just savor it, y'all, because it's so worth it.
When we're done recording, you can tell me who you think of it. But yeah, so that's basically what's going on. But you can find me any of those places. I will always post what I'm doing. I'll always post the buy links and share everything, so you will not be in the dark.
All right, that sounds great. Rebekah, again, thank you for coming on the podcast, and it was great talking with you.
Thank you for having me. This was absolutely lovely.
While that's the end of our discussion, it's not the end of the story, so to speak. We now have premium episodes, which you can get in your feed, wherever you listen to podcasts, or in your inbox if you listen on nerdyromanticspodcast.com. And if you want to know more about the Nerdy Romantics world, sign up for our newsletter. Visit my website at nerdyromanticspodcast.com for more details. Now that's the end of the story. Until next time, thank you for listening.